Well, welcome to today's daily devotional. Have you ever felt like you were crying out to God and God just wasn't listening to you? Well, I think in Psalm 22 we see the psalmist is feeling exactly that. And so he begins with the words, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, but I find no rest. Now, we might know this psalm as one of the messianic psalms, which point forward to Christ himself. And it's Christ who actually used these words as he hung there on the cross, as he hung there in despair, feeling cut off from God on the cross. But I don't think we should be in any doubt that the psalmists themselves would have been using these words from a place of deep despair. I don't know about you, but I can only think of a few occasions in my life where I felt anywhere near this sense of despair. I keep this mug here. It's an Everton mug, if you're not quite picking it up on the screen, to remind me of one of those times. The original owner, Dave, was an Everton fan, and I worked with Dave in the late 1980s for a few years. He travelled down from Liverpool to Surrey each Sunday evening, ready for work, and he would return every Friday evening to be back with his family. As we worked together, we built up a strong relationship over a couple of years. But then one day, driving back to Liverpool, he fell asleep at the wheel, veered into a lorry on his inside lane, and he was killed. Now, I remember when I got that news, that I just got in my own car and went out and drove for several hours because I just needed to be alone and I needed to cry out to God from the sense of anguish that I felt at the loss of my friend. And I remember his wake as though it were yesterday, and particularly the continuous tears of his wife Sonia, who had just given birth to their second child. And she gave me this mug while I was there at the wake, as a reminder of Dave, because she said he'd spoken so fondly of our friendship whenever he was back home at the weekends. Now, we may find ourselves at times in the coming months crying out in anguish to God, maybe even not feeling that he's listening, and particularly so if someone near to us contracts maybe and even possibly dies of this COVID-19 virus. And it's right to shed our tears before God. It's right to cry out to God. But the psalmist reminded himself in the next few verses that whatever the trials they were facing, and for us, whatever trials we are facing, God had not changed and God will not change. And so the psalmist goes on to say, in you our ancestors put their trust. They trusted and you delivered them. To you they cried out and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. So let me pray. Let me pray these words from the psalmist into our lives in these next few months. Lord, I pray that whatever we may face in the next few months, we will not lose sight of the fact that you never change. You are our rock. You are our deliverer. Even when the world around us seems to be collapsing, may we trust in you and not be put to shame, because you are faithful and you will deliver us. Amen. Well, bless you. I pray that you will continue to keep your eyes firmly fixed on Jesus as you are isolated in your homes, and that you will keep pointing others to God, our rock, our deliverer, our Saviour.